And Kurt, I'm fine with you running down the meeting.
All right, sir. I'll take care of it. Thank you very much. So first order of business then is director qualifications and disclosures. So general counsel has filed the disclosure statements. Are there any new announcements before we get started tonight from any of the directors?
None on my behalf, Murray.
None for me.
None for me.
None for me.
Okay, outstanding. Thank you very much. First order of business then is to review and approve the agenda. That was part of your board packet. If there's no additional items to add or anything you want to remove, now is the time we can accept a motion and a second.
A motion to accept the meeting agenda as sent out in the board packet.
And that was Leslie. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, is anyone opposed?
No.
Thank you very much. Next is the consent agenda, and the consent agenda consists of matters that occur in the normal course of business, and you can pass with one motion. There's only one item on the consent agenda tonight, and that's the minutes from your last regular meeting of September 19th, and that was in your board packet.
I have some corrections to the minutes.
Okay.
I think on page 6 of 10, item E under meetings, the board determines to hold regular meetings on the following dates and times in 2023. Should it not be 2024?
And that's in the minutes?
Yeah.
Let me just take a look for it real quick here.
Leslie, it's Murray. What page of the minutes was it?
6 of 10, item E.
I'm looking at page 5, and that's the end of that particular draft
Yeah,
meeting.
under
minutes.
meetings.
I don't believe that's in the minutes, Leslie.
Oh,
I
it's
think you're
not?
looking at the administrative resolution,
I think
Leslie.
that's
Oh,
that's
my
what she's looking
apologies.
at. Okay.
But you are correct about the administrative resolution when we get to that item.
Okay, remind me.
Yep. Good catch on the Scrivener error.
So is there a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you very much. Is anyone opposed?
No.
Thank you very much. Next is correspondence. I do not have any correspondence. And do any members of the board of directors or council have any correspondence?
No.
Nope.
All righty. We can move then to public comment. This is the area where members of the public can address the board. I would ask that if it's an agenda item that you want to speak about, that you wait until that agenda item is up. If you do have a comment, if you could please raise your hand and then I can call on you. Rogine Howe, I see you waving your hand. And you're muted.
There from the state, I believe there is a task force for metro districts. Have we appointed people from our Ebert district to that task force?
My understanding is the state and various parties or entities within the state are appointing people to that task force regarding metro districts. The individual metro districts are not involved in there's not a member from every metro district in the state. Like there's,
I'm not sure that that's the case. I think that each metro district is to appoint some. You might check that further.
There's over 2,300 metropolitan districts and special districts in the state of Colorado. So I
didn't make the law. It's just what it is.
I understand. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's, like the legislature has appoints some people, the governor appoints some people. I know the Special District Association appoints members to that task force, but I know that there's no, in answer to your question, nobody from Ebert, nobody from Town Center has been appointed to that task force.
Any other public comment? Hearing none, we'll move forward. Next is director's items. Bruce, I know you wanted to update us on the recall.
Yeah, I just, as the folks in Ebert know, when we had the budget workshop, there was a discussion about the line item regarding that we have a line item in our budget for election expenses for 2004 because of a recall election. Just to bring people up to date, there's been no date set for the recall election. The recall election will be, if it goes forward, will be handled and run by the clerk's office for the city and county of Denver. Although Ebert will be bearing the expense of the recall. However, there's a protest of the recall that has been filed. A protest hearing has been set. A hearing officer has been appointed by the city and county clerk, the Honorable Paul Lopez. The hearing will take place on December 11th at 1 p.m. at the Denver Elections Division downtown. Again, that's at 1 p.m. on December 11th. And then the results of that protest, I assume that I don't know the total procedure, but I assume that there are potential appeals involved, and if there's a recall election, it won't happen until all of the process as a result of the protest has taken place. So we don't have anything more to report there, but I just wanted that to be part of tonight's agenda in the interest of transparency. And that's really all we have to report about that.
Thank you very much. There is no unfinished business on the agenda, unless any of the directors or council have anything.
Say about that last item. I was just going to ask if a general information will be sent out to the community regarding that.
The city clerk's office is running the protest hearing, so they're the folks that would have information about that process.
Yeah. What's the commission? The city what commission?
City clerk's office in the Denver
Okay.
Election Division.
Okay.
Okay, next on the agenda is new business. First item is review and consideration of a proposal for website platform with Streamline. And I believe most of the directors have received some of the emails from Streamline. The Special District Association has been working with them to get a special deal for metropolitan districts. The reason this was brought about is one of the main things that Streamline offers is an easier platform to work on with the SIPA-based websites, but it's also, there's been some recent legislation that was passed by the state legislature regarding accessibility to websites. And so one of the benefits that Streamline brings is that they're able to use their servers to scrub the websites that they host and be able to help with making those accessible to people that are having trouble with that. And it all goes to, like I said, accessibility issues for everyone. SDA has worked to deal with Streamline where they're offering their first year of service for free for any district that joins before the end of this year, 2023. And there is some information that was included in the board packet regarding Streamline, their service, and their billing scheme.
Kurt,
Sorry.
this is Murray. My understanding is that this particular solution solves a host of compliance issues that are relatively new with the state, and that they basically set up this package to address specifically those compliance issues and obviously early adopters get the benefit of a discount. So pending any other input or concerns by the district directors, I would motion that we go in this direction and adopt the solution that is offered by Streamline for the Ebert Metro District in 2024.
So it's been moved. Is there a second?
I would second.
So it's been moved and seconded, open for discussion at this time.
Kurt, the only thing I have a question. So this would mean Streamline would take over our current website and redesign it. I guess I was a little confused about that, and I just don't want there to be any loss of everything we have on our current website and all of our archived materials and the way we have it set up, so that, because right now it's between you and the prior folks who had worked and putting together our website and cleaning it up, it's actually pretty easy to use. And I just want to make sure that we're not going to lose that accessibility and usability.
Yes, sir. And I've discussed this with a couple of folks at Streamline. Michael Rivera is one of them. He's an associate partner. What I've been told is everything would just transfer from the SIPA platform to the Streamline system. There would be no changes at all unless the districts direct or make those changes themselves. They do offer a lot of different tools. So if the district wishes, or if the board wishes to upgrade or to change the look of the site at some point in time, we can do that. But what I've been told is everything that's there right now on the SIPA platform would just transfer straight over into the new platform.
Okay. All right.
Kurt, this is Lewis Kennedy.
Yes, sir.
Two questions about this. Does the fee cover whatever changes we do want to do to the site? In other words, there's no a la carte charges. Everything they're charging us covers whatever we want to do, no matter how many changes we make or how frequently we make a change. And then
Exactly.
the second is, can you give us an estimate? I think our budget is now just over 10 million. What the fee would be, and then that is the discounted fee, and then what the regular fee would be on an ongoing basis.
Yes, sir. So they will not make any changes to the site. So there's no charges from them unless the district contracts with them to assist with any changes. So that wouldn't take place at all. As far as the fees, you're correct. With the annual hosting revenue, their normal price is $6,420 a year. And the price that they're offering after the first year of free service for Colorado special districts would be $3,852 a year. So this first year, there would be no charge. That would start in 2025 when that charge actually started.
And that would be the 6,000 amount or the 3,800?
$3,852. It's a 40% discount.
And so at this point, they're charging us simply as a host. In other words, they facilitate the hosting of the website, but any changes we pay on an ad hoc basis.
Well, any changes we do in-house.
Yes.
We have a webmaster, so we make the change. The only time you would get charged anything extra is if we needed their assistance to redesign or to do something to the website. I don't anticipate that happening. And then just to clarify on that price, so that first year would be that 40% discount, and then it will gradually increase over a number of, I believe it's 5 years, to the full price.
Right. And currently, what are we paying to host the website?
You pay nothing.
So that's a significant ongoing expense that we're looking at. And I don't know that we have any issues that, Murray, do you know of issues that we have in terms of compliance with our website that you said this fixes or prohibits us from having problems with our website?
It has to do with accessibility to the website. And I didn't get really deep into the weeds on the Colorado HB 211110, the accessibility issue. but that comes into effect in July of 2024. And this particular solution addresses that. I'm not aware of our current website provider. We haven't received anything that I've seen that answers this accessibility issue like the Streamline product does. And
Okay.
so it's basically, it's somewhat, I mean, if you think of it, somewhat of an insurance policy to make sure that we're not, we don't run afoul of the state laws regarding accessibility on our website.
Sure. I'm not opposed to trying it, but if it becomes an annual burden and we're not really getting any, identifiable savings from other, compliance issues, we can always stop doing business with them and just revert to having a posted website, I think. So I'm in favor of giving it a chance.
Any
Hey,
other
Chris.
discussion?
Yeah, just one more thing for Lewis. If you've got the board packet that shows 100 pages, if you go to page 13 of 100, that'll provide a little bit of insight for you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You bet. Okay, thanks. Out.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll just call for the question. Is there anyone opposed to the motion to contract with Streamline for web hosting services?
Nope.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. I will make the appropriate contacts tomorrow and we'll get that started. Next is to review and consider approval of the 2024 Administrative Matters Resolution. That is part of your board packet. And Leslie, yes, I did see that. That is a typo and we will correct that. The individual dates of the meetings, the years are correct, but the header states 2023 meetings.
Can you also correct Cynthia's name on the signature line?
Yes,
Page
ma'am.
10?
We'll make that correction. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So the administrative resolution is part of your board packet. Would you like me to share that on my screen or do you have that?
Kurt, I think we distributed that around unless anybody wants to look at it.
Yes, sir.
But I will motion to approve the 2024 Administrative Matters Resolution as amended per prior conversation.
Second.
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, is there anyone opposed to the motion?
Nope.
Thank you very much. Number
And
9.
Karen, as far as the signatures, so do I just print out that page and send you and scan it, sign it and scan it and send it to you?
No, sir. What I'll do is I'll correct the document and I'll send it to you and Cynthia for your signatures via DocuSign.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Items 9, 10, and 11 are review and consider engagement letters with your current general counsel, with my firm for management, and with Clifton Larson Allen for accounting. So I don't know if you want to deal with these individually or if you've had a chance to take a look at them and just deal with them all in one motion. That would be up to the board.
I'm fine with dealing them as a I guess all together, unless people want to talk about them individually. I just would say that with regard to the legal agreement that we're signing and do that directly with Evans firm. The other two are we sign, but the contract's actually with Town Center. Although there's at least one of them has a signature line for myself. The Clifton Allen, the accounting services, is part of the master agreement with Town Center, but then there's an addendum showing the Ebert as well as the sub-districts for Town Center are included within the master service agreement that CLA does accounting services on behalf of.
I agree and concur with Bruce with respect to handling all three of these engagement letters as a group. And so I will second Bruce's motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I have no objections on handling them as a group.
Thank you, sir. Hearing none, we'll call the question. Is there anyone opposed to approving items 9, 10, and 11, the engagement letters with the consultants for 2024?
Nope.
All right, thank you very much. We can move to number 12, and that's to discuss and authorize renewal of the district's insurance and special district association membership for 2024. We have gotten the insurance renewal paperwork and the updated policy, and just waiting for finalization of the budget for the SDA membership renewal, because your dues are based on your budget, your revenue and expenditures.
Right.
So if there's no opposition to renewing both of those, just need a motion and a second to approve.
I move.
I
Sir.
second.
Okay, thank you, Bruce. Any discussion on the motion?
I just wanted to double check with regard to the insurance. Is that sort of combined with town center? I just can't remember. Sorry.
No, sir, it's your own individual policy and it's a general liability policy for the district.
Okay, thank you.
Hearing
Just one bit of clarification on this. So the Special District Association creates this pool, and metro districts that want to be part of it, I can't imagine any that would not, their insurance essentially comes through the pool. When there are claims, the claims go through the Special District Association and erode the pool. At the end of the year, when all claims have been settled, or all actions, the pool determines if there's an excess amount in the pool, and that excess is returned to the participating metro districts. And I think this has worked very well for many years in other metro districts that I've been associated with. So I think it's very important that we continue this insurance.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. And my point in saying that is, you may have heard some recent stories on homeowner associations that actually buy their insurance in the market. And because of the volatile nature of the Colorado environment in recent years, their premiums have gone to an extreme. We, being a metro district, don't have to go to the public market to buy our insurance. We go through this pool, and I think it's proving itself to be a real advantage at this point.
That's a great point.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, is there anyone opposed to the motion?
Nope.
All right, thank you very much. Item 13 is to authorize the district accountant to prepare and sign the DLG 70 certification of tax levies for certification to the Board of County Commissioners and other interested parties. That's an annual requirement that we have to let the Denver County know what they're to assess on behalf of the district, and that's the purpose of that form. And just need a motion and a second to authorize the district accountant to file that form.
So moved.
It's seconded.
Is there anyone opposed to the motion?
Nope.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. We'll move then to the financial items. And Alyssa, I see you there. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Did you want me to share my screen, or do you?
I can share my screen. Before I start on the budget though, I'm sorry I didn't realize this sooner. I sent over the auditor's engagement letter to engage Whipfly to prepare the 2023 audit. It looks like it didn't make it in the packet or the agenda. I'm wondering if we can somehow get that in there, maybe approve subject to someone's final review, just to avoid any delays for your 2023 audit preparation.
It's up to the board. If you want, we can amend the approval of the agenda to add that. Alyssa, did you send it to me, the engagement letter?
Yeah, with all the enclosures, so it was with a batch of stuff. It's probably the last thing in there.
Okay, and I apologize to the board. I did not see that. We can go back and amend the approval to the agenda to add this item if you're okay with that. Seeing as how we don't have another meeting until January.
I
Our
support
next
you.
meeting-
I
We'd
support
have to
the
have a
amendment.
special meeting in January because our next meeting is actually not until late
Right,
March.
March.
Yeah, let's go ahead and amend. I agree.
So if I could then just get a motion from one of the board or a motion and a second from the board to amend the approval of the agenda to include an item to review and consider an engagement letter for the 2023 audit.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Is anyone opposed?
Nope.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And again, I apologize for not getting that on there.
Thanks for catching that, Alyssa. I was wondering about that. It was one of my notes for tonight.
No worries, thank you.
Shall we deal with that right now then, the approval and voting on it, or do we do that later in the meeting?
It would be one of the financial items, and so we can do that right now if you'd like, and then move into the budget and the other items in the financial section.
Or we could
I
make
agree.
it part of 15 when we consider the appointment of the accountant to prepare the 2025 budget as well. But yeah, we could do it now. That's fine.
So I would like to understand the change in the engagement letter from year to year. Is the pricing the same, or is there a significant change in the price?
The pricing does go up a little bit each year. I wouldn't say significant. Trying to find the fees right now. Okay, so they estimate it will not be over $6,800, which is a little bit. I think this year is about a little over $6,000. So yeah, it increases a bit each year. The language usually doesn't change much. And they have been your auditors for the past 2 years at least, so they are familiar with the district and they have competitive rates.
That does sound competitive to me, so I'm fine with that rate.
I am as well. And we've been able to work well with them the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So just need a motion and a second to approve the engagement letter then?
Yeah, I'll motion to approve the 2023 audit engagement letter with Whipfly.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, is there anyone opposed?
Nope.
Thank you very much. Okay, Alyssa, sorry, we'll get back on track.
No problem, thank you. All right, so
Before we start this, should we move to open the public hearing?
Certainly, that's
Yes.
fine.
So I move we open the public hearing on the 2024 budget.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. I'm assuming no one is in opposition. So we can open the public hearing at 7:29.
And just for the record, the notice of the public hearing was published in the Denver Post, Your Hub Supplement last Thursday, November 30th.
Yes, sir. Okay, Alyssa.
are we taking public comment first or after?
No, we'll take it afterwards.
Okay. Okay, so our 2024 draft budget. So we did have a study session last month where we went over the budget. And the main change from that version was that we did update the assessed valuations to incorporate the projected changes from the recent legislation that passed in the special session. So the results of that are that the residential assessment rate did decrease and the residential property exemption did increase. So this essentially resulted in your projected assessed values decreasing from the last version, which essentially decreases your revenue and our mill levies that were imposed for debt service. So looking at our property tax summary page, you'll still see an increase in assessed value from last year, but just not as large as our first version. But other than that, we did make a few formatting changes that were discussed in the study session. The notes still do need to be finalized with the language summarizing the special session results. Our firm does work on that as a team. So that language is being finalized. And there was one other mistake pointed out to us in the notes that we will correct. But otherwise, there were no changes made since the last version. So I'm not sure if you guys want me to go through in too much detail.
Lisa, I do have just one question on this text summary page. So the state's resolution to the problem was the problem was assessed values went up, and unless the state intervened and mill levies were adjusted, everyone's taxes were going to go up. And so in this case, the residential component is the biggest piece of our assessed valuation. It went up by 40 million, it looks like. Is that a lower number, that lower increase then?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so in our particular case, in Ebert's particular case, there's both a reduction in that residential value and the mill levy is also lower, so that the impact to Ebert taxpayers will be a relatively neutral tax effect. Is that correct?
Well, so as far as your mill levies for Ebert, so your 17 mills and your 1 mills are contractual, so those stayed the same. And then we
Okay.
did adjust your debt service mills just to keep the same, so that we don't have a surplus of, I believe, over 60,000 is what it is. So we use the same methodology. I can't remember if we went up or down a little bit. I don't think it was too significant of a change.
Got it. And so as you indicated, through the IGA between Town Center and Ebert Metro District, we must use 17 mills to pass through to them the funding they use to do their business. Is that correct?
Correct.
So by default, with a higher assessed value, Town Center will have more money coming into it this year.
They would have, since the assessed value did go down a little bit with the legislation, that did also go down, that corresponding transfer to Town Center, the net revenue from that 17 mills.
But I mean, if you look at the 23 budget, it was 124 million. This new budget is 148 million. The adjusted assessed value is 148 million. And as a result, there will be a significantly higher number going to Town Center, even though there's been an adjustment, it looks like.
Correct, yes. Even with your legislation, as you can see, your assessed value did increase from last year.
Okay, just wanted that to be clear in the participants' mind as we go through this.
Yeah, and I can point out that number on this page. So it looks like we are projecting this line services outlay to Town Center to transfer about 2.9 million next year.
Right. And so this current fiscal year, 2023, they had 2,472,000 to work with. Next year, they've got almost $500,000 more to work with.
Correct.
Okay. Just so we're clear. Okay.
Anything else from the board?
Not on the budget. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And there were some questions, Alyssa. I wanted to, you've already mentioned that there are a couple of things in the narrative this, on this page, you're gonna change these two numbers, that 5 million and 1.8 million here, those gonna change to this 4.9 and the 2 million number in this narrative paragraph. And then you mentioned in the next section about property taxes, that's that team approach you said you're gonna talk about, that they gotta change that paragraph as well to get all these percentages and things to be correct. Is that what I understand?
Correct, yeah, so I can clarify, so I did update the table here with the transfers to town center, which are calculating what we expect the amount left under the maximum service amount to be due to town center at the end of next year. But it looks like if you guys see right above, I did not update that one sentence, so this table is correct, and we will correct this sentence to reflect that. And
Great.
then again, with our next page, our property tax section revenues, we still have our explanation of the original Senate bill from last year showing those changes. So we do need to update this paragraph showing the changes in assessment rates.
But all the numbers in the actual budget tables that were previous, those all reflect, say, the 6.7 new
Correct.
ratio and all the other changes that were made in this past special session, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
There's no questions from the board. We can accept public comment.
I see that Gail has her hand up.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Thank you. Quite a few years ago, probably before most of you on this board had moved into this area, we the people took a vote to not engage or to hire big firms like Clifton Larson was one of them, that are so tied to metropolitan districts and their whole cabal. And I'm wondering why we are not hiring an independent accounting firm, because that's what the people voted for quite a few years ago. And the same goes for law firms as well.
Oh, Gail, this is the first time I've heard of it. I will tell you that the Ebert board did attempt to hire a different accounting firm last year, and that accounting firm, after accepting the job, then backed out, and actually Clifton Larson has been great, stepping in and doing really great work for us this year on what turned out to be an emergency basis, because we were left with no accounting after the firm that we tried to hire separately backed out. But this is the first I've ever heard of this vote. I'm not sure what type of vote you were talking about. And I don't know if these records were somewhere, whether if it was a prior board or if there was a public election. I've never heard of that, so I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, I mean, I know that Clifton Larson is a big accounting firm. I know that they have a lot of special district clients, but at least in the last year, they've really helped us out because of what happened. And since we've had a new account manager at Clifton Larson doing the work, they're much more responsive to Ebert and concerns we've raised than the prior account representative. Personally, I've been very happy with the work they've done. So I hear what you're saying, but again, that's the first I've heard of whatever vote you're talking about.
Yeah, well, they were the accountants for our district for a long time. And as I said, this occurred probably before many of you that are on, even lived here. I will try to find out about that. I personally don't have any documentation, but it was a very big meeting and there was a huge vote in favor of only hiring independent law firms and accounting firms, rather than these big firms that we had, that people were very unhappy about and felt like they were just devoted to the metropolitan district industry. So I'll try and find out more about it and see if some people recall it and if there's any documentation. Thank you, Bruce. I appreciate your explanation.
You're welcome.
Any other public comment regarding the budget? Hearing none, we can entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
That,
So we will close at 7:42. And if there's no other discussion about the budget, entertain a motion to adopt the 2024 budget. And that would be adopting resolution 2023-12-02.
I move to adopt the 2024 budget, resolution 2023-12-02 with proposed revisions to the summary of significant assumptions as previously discussed.
And I would also ask you to consider pending the publishing of the final assessed valuation from the Denver County, because we don't
Okay.
have it yet.
Yes.
A motion with that amendment.
Thank you, sir.
I second that.
And as far as discussion, the only question I have is this, are we combining the two resolutions that are on the agenda, or are we gonna have a separate motion for the resolution to set mill levies?
That's up to you. I would just ask you to separate them, just so it
Okay.
makes it clear to the people when they read minutes of the meeting.
Okay, all right, so this is just a resolution to adopt the 2024 budget and appropriate sums of money,
Yes, sir.
Okay,
If there's no other discussion, is there anyone opposed to the motion to adopt the 2024 budget and appropriate sums of money for 2024?
none here.
Not here.
So then next is to consider the resolution 2023-12-03 to set mill levies. And again, I would ask for the same caveat is pending final AV certification from Denver County.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any comment? Hearing none, is anyone opposed?
No.
Not here.
Thank you very much. Next is to consider appointment of the district accountant to prepare the 2025 budget.
I would move that we appoint Clifton Larson to prepare the 2025 budget.
Second.
Thank you. Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, is there anyone opposed? Thank you very much. All right, next is to review the financial statements for the period ending October 31st, 2023.
All right, we did provide October 31st financials in the packet for review. So nothing out of the ordinary stood out to me that I'd feel the need to go over. So I'll leave it up to the board if they have any questions or would like me to go over anything in detail. We can certainly do that now.
Let's see here. No, I didn't have any questions or comments.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I don't see any line items that appear problematic.
Just for formality then, if I can, we'll accept a motion in a second to accept the unaudited financial statements for the period ending October 31st, 2023.
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you. Is there anyone opposed? Thank you very much. Next is to review and consider the district's payables for the period ending on today's date, December 5th, 2023.
So yes, we have provided the district's invoice payments since the last meeting and the current payables actually as of November 29th. So your first section is your payments, the invoices processed and paid since last meeting. These are all approved by Bruce and Murray for a total of $54,325.47. And then your next section is going to be your upcoming payables, which includes some October payables, which I believe we're still waiting on final approval within Town Center's process, but we're hoping to get those released within the next day or so.
And I believe that Murray and I have approved these 3
Correct.
invoices that are on the payables list.
If there's no questions, we just entertain a motion then to approve the payables as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Is there anyone opposed? All right, thank you very much. Thanks, Alyssa.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you, Alyssa.
And so the next item is to discuss district covenant control and restrictions status report. I did not receive a status report on the CCRs. So I have nothing to report on that. Next is the work order status report, and Jerry did send that to me, and I did forward that out to the board here prior to the meeting. And I can share my screen and show that. And so that's the status report that was sent over and shared. I don't have any further information. Do I see Jerry on the call?
Yeah, I'm on, Kurt.
I'm sorry?
Yes, I'm on.
Oh, I thought so. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Board members, any questions for Jerry? Or Jerry, do you have anything to address regarding the report?
I don't have anything specifically to address. It's pretty normal. Most of our work orders come in as irrigation and landscape concerns through the season, so everything's tracking pretty normal.
Jerry, it's Murray. Hi.
Yep.
On the board packet, page 11 of 100, it's got I think it's probably one of your Excel spreadsheets. It starts with date January 3rd and it goes through the 7th of June. Is there anything that the town district is working on or anything that's been submitted since the 7th of June?
Yeah, it sounds like that. You didn't get the updated spreadsheet in the packet.
No, sir.
So I'll have to look at that because that was the last update that was provided. So it sounds like we were missing the corresponding spreadsheet that you got in your last meeting.
Okay. I'm assuming you have access to the board packet and you're seeing what I'm seeing?
No, I don't. I don't have the board packet.
Okay.
What page was that, Murray? I'm sorry.
It's page 11 of 100 in the board packet.
Okay, I'll share again.
That's it right there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's all we got. So I was just kind of questioning if nothing had been submitted or received after the 7th of June.
No, I'll send Kurt the update on that to distribute.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. And then, yeah, I'll include that in the minutes from tonight's meeting as well.
Yeah, and add what Jerry sends you to the board packet. So we'll have a complete board packet with the rest of that exhibit.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And then Kurt, could we see that chart one more time
Yes, sir.
of the work orders? Not the spreadsheet, but the actual
Oh, I'm sorry.
graphic, the graphic that you had up earlier. Yeah, that's the one. So Jerry, these percentages, these are based upon the dollar values spent on these items? Or is it
No,
based upon?
It's based on the categories, not the dollar amount.
Okay, so it's 32% of the work orders, not the value of the work orders, were landscaping and grounds, and 28% of the work orders were irrigation. Okay. And so this is irrigation, you said is typical for the period because summer irrigation was still going on, and maybe we'll be seeing this go down because of when they turn off the irrigation, if we were to do this quarterly or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Is locate flag when you get like a dig safe type call?
Yeah, it's anytime somebody is going to be going into the ground for any type of repair, replacement, or work. It used to be on a tiered system. Now it's required that we get contacted to locate any of our assets underground. So
Okay.
irrigation main lines, laterals, stuff like that.
And then one other clarification under landscaping and grounds, there is no snow removal, is that correct?
There is snow removal.
Oh, would it
Good.
be under landscape and grounds, or would it be a new category?
It would be under landscaping and grounds because they fall within the same contract.
Got it. Okay.
But these are work orders, right, Jerry? Separate work orders that people submit, or is this internally generated work orders?
No, it's work orders that people submit. So
Okay.
if somebody were to submit a snow removal on say a trail that wasn't completed, that would fall within that 32%.
Got it.
Got
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for that clarification.
Yep.
I have no further questions, Kurt.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on then to statutory compliance. The district, we're in compliance right now. We do have a couple of deadlines that are coming up. We must file these report with the state. I'm drawing a blank right now. It's your identifying who the board members are, when the meeting dates are, when the next election is. We'll get that done by the end of the month. Because of the special session, though, the state has moved some of the statutory deadlines for in regards to the budget.
Yep.
The current deadline, you're supposed to have current values or final values from the assessor by December 10th. That's been pushed to January 3rd. Districts have until January 10th now to submit mill levies to the county. And so all of that will be delayed, but we'll finish up all the statutory compliance for this year as required, and then we'll hit the deadlines. We'll work with CLA to get everything filed with the county for mill levies in January.
There you go. Great.
Hey, Kurt, the report you're referring to, I believe, is the transparency report, the annual transparency report.
Yes, sir.
There's two places that we can report, either one of which, from what I understand, would suffice the state's requirements. And I think last year we did both, and that was, I think, through an SDA portal, and then we have a specific form that we fill out for DOLA. And I would propose that we do both, just for consistency. Some people go just to DOLA to look for that. It's an easy find there. You have to drill around a little bit more if you're going to go into SDA. So I would propose that we do both reports.
Yes, sir. And my firm, we typically do both ways. We do file with the SDA, and then we file a separate report with the county treasurer, the county assessor, the board of county commissioners. It's well distributed. And then
Okay,
we
but
also post
Right, there's a specific form that the state uses.
Yes, sir.
For DOLA, so I just want to make sure that we're consistent year after year doing that, as long as the state has that form available.
Yes, sir. And then we also post that to the district website as well.
Great, excellent, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
We move to other business, unless the directors have any business items. There is a request to go into executive session. And so I'd entertain a motion to enter into executive session in accordance with 24-6-4024B and E. Conference with the district's general counsel for receiving answers to specific legal questions and to discuss negotiation strategy and mediation related to ongoing litigation between the Ebert Metropolitan District and the Town Center Metropolitan District.
So moved.
Second,
And Kurt, are you gonna put us into a separate room, or are we gonna do what we did last time where basically tell everybody we'll be back in 45 minutes?
Yes, sir. I don't have I cannot find the ability to put anybody into a separate room. And so I would ask that we do that.
Okay.
So it's been moved and seconded. Is there anyone opposed to going into executive session?
Nope.
Thank you very much. So members of the public, we have to ask you to please, since I'm unable to segregate people on the call, I would ask you to leave. Evan, any idea of what you think it may take to update the board for time?
Well, we're gonna have questions, so I don't know how long that'll take, but probably a half an hour at least.
Okay. So members of the public, I would ask that you please disconnect, and then you're more than welcome to come back in at 8:30. And then I will stay on the call in case anybody comes back in, and we'll stay on the call or bring back so we can close the meeting. So we still have a few people that are still on with us.
are you able to,
Jay Puffer. Yes, sir. I'm working on it right now here.
okay,
Mr. Jennings. I just want to make sure I don't cut anybody off. Evan, you don't have anybody else on, do you?
No, we don't have anyone else.
Okay. There is somebody with iPhone. Okay. Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Okay. And let me stop the recording.
When did we go in? Kurt,
And
when did
we'll
we go
just
in?
wait for everybody. I'm sorry, Evan.
When did we go into executive session? We came out at 8:36. We went in at 7:50.
7:59. Yes, sir.
7:59. Okay. All right. Got it.
Kurt, you'll get a certificate Evan, you'll get a certificate to Kurt.
Right. That's what I was.
Your
kinda-
sound down while they're talking.
So we are back in general session and recording at 8:37.
Because actually, no one in the history of America.
If there are no other items of business for the board, we can entertain a motion to adjourn, please.
I just want the public to know that we had discussion with our attorney regarding the status of the litigation, and we are
Very much for
there are no motions that are going to be made as a result of any actions that, or any discussion that took place during executive session regarding the discussions about the ongoing litigation.
Thank you, sir.
motion
Okay.
to adjourn.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we will stand adjourned then at 8:38.
I had
Thank
a
you.
question. Can I ask a question?
Sure,
The-
we just adjourned, but okay.
Yeah, the meeting's officially closed, so anybody who wants to stick around, they can, I guess.
Can I speak?
Subject to you, Bruce. What do you think?
Go ahead, Gail.
Okay, I was just gonna mention, and I can't remember her last name. It was Sandra. She moved from our neighborhood a number of years ago, but she headed up the Ebert board for a number of years, and it was under Sandra's direction that we
Sandra
hire
Hittman.
people that are not affiliated with metropolitan districts, that we hire independent attorneys and accountants. So I just wanted, that memory came back to me, and I can't remember Sandra's last name.
Her
She
last
lived
name, I
on
think, was
53rd.
Hitman. Her last name is
Yes, that's
Hitman.
it. Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. That's who it was. And that's when that vote took place. And Sandra did proceed to hire independent resources for us. So that's all I have to say. But
Thank you, Gail. I can shed a little bit more light on that. One of the byproducts of that whole endeavor was the cooperation agreement, and that cooperation agreement we have utilized.
okay. All right. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and thank you for remembering Sandy's last name. So,
Good
yeah.
night, everybody.
Good night,
Okay,
everybody.
Good night.
Farewell.
Thank you for letting me just give you that information. I appreciate it. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Good night. Good night.